For the next two video I have prepared two archetype analysis of two very obscure and small archetypes that I skimmed over earlier in the show's lifespan. Uh, this particular one is a dual monsters era archetype called the Grepher, used by this random ass guy from season 4 known as Gurimo. And yeah, it's a very small and very obscure 8-card archetype, so let's make this short, shall we? First of which we start off with the vanilla monster Warrior Die Grepher. It's a normal monster, and the spell card Unexpected Die was based off of him, and that's the only relevance this guy has. Yeah, and yeah, lore-wise he's sort of a rival to the Warrior Lady of the Wasteland, which I might add is a whole lot better since she's actually a type searcher. And so yeah, that's everything. Although there's actually one more monster within this archetype that actually requires him as a fusion material, but we'll get to that. It's not the most optimal thing you can build your deck around, but yeah. Significantly more important is actually Dark Grepher, a dark monster, dark level 4 warrior effect monster with the exact same stats as the original Grepher. And its effect is the following: you can special summon this card from your hand by discarding a level 5 or higher dark monster. Once per turn you can discard one dark monster, send one dark monster from your deck to the graveyard. Alright, so this card is actually limited, so why is it limited, you might ask? Well, where do I start? It's a special summoning condition for the mere price of discarding a dark monster, which is one of the most prevalent types of the game at the moment. It's also free graveyard setup for the hand and the fields, and it's basically a main playmaker in the Infernity build, since it can basically result them in a free monster graveyard setup, and basically it can wipe their hands away pretty damn quickly, and that is a very admirable choice. It's an upgraded Armageddon Knight to an extent, so yeah, it's a great card, and you should always consider running it in basically any build that focuses on a lot of dark monsters. And if it ever comes off the limited list, absolutely max out on this guy. Next up we have Night Day Grepher, and sadly things don't improve from here because this is a level 4 Gemini monster for some reason. And its Gemini effect is that during the end phase you can target an equip spell in your graveyard and add that target to your hand, and you can only use this once per turn, so it's a hard once per turn. So yeah, and spoiler warning, the archetype has no equip spells to speak of, so the existence of this effect is really questionable. So yeah, if you crave an equip recycling thing from the graveyard, just play Noble Knights or Divine Phoenix Blade or whatever. Anyway, next up we have the Spirit Ryu, a dragon monster, a level 4 dragon with 1000 attack and defense. And yeah, you can only activate this effect during your battle step. If this card battles, you can during your turn you can discard one dragon type monster from your hand to the graveyard. Increase the attack and defense of this card by 1000 until the end step. Mind you, this attack boosting effect isn't once per turn. Yep, even when you take in consideration that this is the only dragon type monster within the archetype. Now you might be thinking, what the hell does this have to do with anything Grepher related? Well, their fusion monster requires this guy's fusion material, so yeah, it's part of the archetype for that sole reason alone, and basically everything else. I mean, I think this card did see some niche play during Dragon Ruler format, since it was actually a very fun way to discard Dragon Rulers during the battle phase. So there's that. Maybe I could be wrong, but yeah, it's the only relevance this thing has. Anyway, now let's move on to the final stretch of the main deck, first of which we have Dark Lucius level 4. And it's a level 4 with 1000 attack and 300 defense. Terrible stats. And the effects of your opponent's monsters this card destroys by battle are negated. And during your next standby phase, after this card destroys a monster by battle, you can send this to the graveyard to special summon Dark Lucius level 6 from your hand or deck. And its only effect, its exact effect is exactly the same as Dark Lucius level 6, only it needs to be special summoned by Dark Lucius level 4's effect in order to apply said effect. And the condition to level him up into Dark Lucius level 8, which is the highest level among these, is to you actually apply this effect at least once, not just destroy a monster by battle, just like Lucius level 4. And Lucius level 8 has the exact same effect as all of these, except it actually has a bonus effect that any monster this guy destroys by battle is banished instead of going to the graveyard, which honestly is a really good effect. Negating monster effects as soon as you destroy them, which is a huge deal nowadays with a whole bunch of floating effects from the graveyard and all that. But on top of that, you can actually make your opponent drain resources by banishing a monster straight up. It's a nice card, but the thing is, you can't even cheat this thing out with level up, since this thing needs to be special summoned by the effect of Dark Lucius level 6 in order to even be able to carry over said effect. Meaning you can't even cheat out Lucius level 6 with level up, since it requires to use its effect in order to special summon Lucius level 8, and in order for Lucius level 6 in order to use his effect, he needs to be summoned by Dark Lucius level 4, meaning if you want to turbo this thing out, you'll have to basically play a Moon Mirror Shield build involving Dark Lucius level 4. My god, that is such a slow freaking thing. But you know, despite all that, I still think that summoning our Armed Dragon Catapult Cannon is way worse. Yeah. Anyway, let's just close this thing off with the fusion monster Ryusan. It's a level 6 fusion monster with 2000 attack and 1200 defense, requires warrior, die, Grepher, and spirit Ryu as fusion materials. And a fusion summon of this monster can only be conducted with the above fusion materials. As long as this card remains face up on the field, negate the effects of normal trap cards by paying 1000 life points, and negate the effects of spell cards that target the card and destroy this. So basically, you can negate any normal trap by simply paying 1000 life points, and you can negate any spell cards that target this without any cost. The effect is permanent. Keep in mind, the spell immunity effect was actually pretty damn relevant, because there weren't many protection effects from this sort of thing back in the day, so having this effect is pretty alright, but it does make the card very dated by today's standards and pretty much not worth it in the grand scheme of things. Okay, what do I say about the grades? I mean, Dark Grepher is a thing, but that is, but he is usually reserved for heavy dark builds, but judging from the fact that he's the only dark monster in this entire archetype, with Dark Lucius being an earth monster for whatever reason, yeah, it's 1 out of 3. Power also gets a 1 out of 3. The strongest monster in the archetype is Dark Lucius level 8, which has a very specific special summoning condition. So no, it's a 1 out of 3 there as well. Comeback ability as well. Protection gets a 1 out of 3. However, I do feel a bit generous to give a versatility a 2 out of 3, just for the existence of Dark Grepher and the fact that his influence on dark base deck made him limited, along with Armageddon Knight. So yeah, great card in a very, very small and very, very crappy archetype. And that's it for today's archetype analysis. There's gonna be an even shorter one tomorrow. Yeah, you might be thinking what the archetype is about, but you'll see. It's a treat. Anyway, thank you all so much for watching. Stay tuned for more visual clues and updates. Comment, like, and subscribe. I'll as usual upload the next video whenever I can. Be sure to drop by my Patreon, maybe support the show, drop a few donations if you feel like it. And I'll see you next time. See you all, have a good day, and peace.